Hello, my name is Misha, and I'm here with amazing Evo doing a new ADC Live web episode called the LumApps Analytics Deep Dive. So we have a very packed agenda today. First, we'll talk a little bit about some of the feedback we've received from you for our past episode. We'll go into a little bit about ADC, what we do, pro tip of the week, what we're excited about from LumApps, from some of the latest releases. And then we'll go into analytics first, a little bit of strategic perspective, and then we'll deep dive into the data and what's out of the box, as well as data lake with EO. So without further ado, let's get started. First of all, thank you guys very much for your past participation. We really appreciate it. And we also appreciate your feedback. We heard your feedback, and we're going to try to implement it as best we can. First of all, one of the feedbacks was, what can I make with LumApps Data Lake? So that's something we actually heard from past episodes, from users, that you want to know about data lake a little bit more. What can we get out of it, right? What can we make? What can we break, right? Nobody wants to break anything, but so we've added some slides here. That's what Evo's going to really talk about today. Also, real-time interactions and questions. So StreamYard doesn't seem like it allows us to have users come in, have you folks come in real time to ask questions, but please use the comments feature in LinkedIn to ask the questions, and we will do our best to address them. Evo's here as well as myself to moderate, and that's what we're here for. And let's see how it works. And then finally, one of the feedbacks that also I have personally received, that slow down, don't rush, take your time. I know sometimes I have a tendency to talk a little bit too fast, and so I will definitely, it's a work in progress, and I'm going to try to do my best. No promises. So without further ado, about ADC, so who we are, we're obviously a LumApps partner, LumApps tech partner, been with LumApps for 8 years, and the 5 years as ADC. We are here to kind of help with thought partnership to really make your employee experience platform as simple, as easy as possible. And because LumApps is a product that's evolving and it's becoming very, very complicated for a good reason, right? Because there's a lot of sources, a lot of data, and a lot of new extensions and a lot of new evolvements with the product. We're really here to make it as simple as possible, kind of fit it best into fit the value of the product into your vision, right? Through all the different perspectives. We do obviously analytics, custom integrations, AI, search, UI UX design, as well as project implementations and strategy and SME support. And we, just FYI, we have over 30 extensions in the marketplace. And in fact, you can actually find the extensions on our documentation site, which is docs.adc.dev. Thank you for putting that on the screen. You'll see a full list of all of our extensions here. In fact, let me just show you right here. If you go to docs.adc.dev, click on search. This, by the way, is a LumApps site, completely all built on LumApps. It's a LumApps public site, just like LumApps' documentation site. So is ADC documentation site as a public LumApps site. You can kind of go here and search for our extensions, or or kind of scroll through. For example, we have some of the new ones. Follow people. One we just recently released, where you can actually have a follow button on follow an individual or leader. Put that on the homepage. So anyway, you can kind of scroll through sub navigation, check it out. All our extensions are listed here. Also on the homepage of the ADC docs, you'll have some of the recent extensions and most of the newer ones that we've been talking about. So feel free to check that out as well. So next is so pro tip of the week. So for this one, I know it's been asked a lot, and we wanted to show you that sometimes a lot of times you want to get a little bit deeper about pages. Sometimes I see pages being built very, very long, right? You might have 10 widgets, 20 widgets on the page, and not just the home page. This could be a landing page. This could be, a sub page, right? And many times you don't really know whether folks look at the entire page. Out of the box, you'll see what views and clicks, but how deep folks go into a page, you don't really know. So there's a way to do it with scroll depth analysis through using Google Tag Manager. You can put that in your assuming if you're on Google, and you have Google Analytics whitelisted for your environment with your enterprise, you can do this, set up a Google Tag Manager event for scroll depth. Kind of something similar to this. So if you go, this is the actual Looker Studio dashboard that shows you scroll depth, how deep people scroll, for example, on the homepage. Let me just zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. So we have 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100% here. And so you can kind of see how, and this is a good KPI to tell you, if folks really don't scroll that much further down, and maybe you have some ERGs or some other like water cooler or some other communities or interactions on the bottom of the page, and you see folks don't really scroll down that much, but that's important content to you, you might want to consider bumping it up top, right? Or you might want to consider killing it, or doing something else with it. That's where the strategy part comes in, right? And you can really, this is really useful, not just homepage, but in, like I said, landing pages, right? Department pages, etc. It works really, really well. And here's just FYI. So this is in Google Tag Manager. You have a scroll depth event, right? And then you can kind of set up your the attributes that you want to target with, the content ID, the pages, etc. So that's just a high-level overview of that. That's something we find very, very useful for our customers. Next, what we're excited about. So we generally like to present here things from LumApps that were recently released, or maybe not so recently, but we're still excited about them because we see folks don't really know so much about it, or are not really aware. So this is one. Ivo, did you know, by the way, that this is a new? This is just released, I think, in one of the releases in June. So you can actually, if you have an extension, you have extensions deployed on your platform, you can actually go in and check out all the extensions, all the KPIs, right? You can see how they're used across the entire platform, how many visitors, how many clicks, interactions that were with them. You can kind of go and filter on each one. It's actually very cool. This is, let me just show you guys here. So if you go to, so here it is under analytics. This is only for platform level, right? Obviously, this extensions deployed on the platform level. And this is for platform admins only, at least out of the box. I'm sure there's probably ways we can explore later to do it in a Looker dashboard, for example. But here, you can see all this interactions. You can obviously modify dates, the ranges. Let's say last 90 days, for example, so last 30 days. And here I have back to top. Now see you have guest word. And this, by the way, this is only on your/our platform, but this doesn't show us what's, in our case, we have obviously a ton of extensions. This is not going to show us our extension KPIs on our customer environments. This only shows us the extensions that are used on our or on your specific LumApps platform, just to make sure that's very clear. And then here
it's very useful to have an idea of how much you are using a custom extension from a third-party vendor, for example, right?
Exactly. Yep. And I also find that you can filter on these extensions here. Obviously, our environment has fewer users than yours, but you can kind of go in, see which, maybe use some of our extensions, maybe use other LumApps extensions, right? You can kind of follow user interest or survey, whatever the extensions are. You can kind of go in, look at their KPIs, are they used heavily or not, and this kind of gives you more insights into whether you want to, if it's something that's important to you, and you see it's not being used, then obviously there's some gaps there, and there might be some reasons to create more awareness, create some awareness campaigns to the employee base through some communications about these extensions to make sure that they're being used. So that's this, and then the next one is what we're very excited about is LumApps. Thank you, LumApps. They have announced in their latest July 16th release 2 of our extensions, our advanced survey widget as well as our time zone widget. So we're very excited about that as well. The time zone widget is here on the homepage. You can actually click in, update times. So you have users, you're a global company, and maybe your teams want to have a time zone to make it more personalized. So maybe they want to use a global admin want to set a baseline or a fixed for everybody, but then users can come in and change their own time zones as needed. So like from Tokyo to like Los Angeles, for example, and then just it gives you a sense of personalization. And also our advanced story widget as well. Again, I don't want to talk too much about it. This is not the goal for the webinar, but you can definitely go back to our docs documentation site and check out the advanced story widget, read more about it, and on docs.adc.dev. Thank you, Ivo. Okay, telling your analytics story. So
yeah, the analytics. Today we're going to speak about strategy, right?
Yes, this is so two parts exactly. We're going to talk about strategy first, and then we'll talk about the a little bit of a deep dive, or maybe more than a little bit. And by the way, something we did a little bit different today. So as you'll see in the further slides, we've broken up slides by we've labeled them with beginner, intermediate, or advanced. So we are going to get a little bit deeper here. So for those folks who are a little bit newer to LumApps, just be aware. Hope you won't give us bad feedback for getting deeper. But just we're giving you that call out that's to set that expectation early on. To see, look at the slides, and you'll see which one's more beginner level. Some might be a little bit more advanced. So you're welcome to kind of mute or come back and read to the replay in the future or through the Hive. So what gets measured gets managed. Peter Drucker, right? That's a very, very, very important quote, obviously, because we need to know what we're measuring, and that really does help us to build a case and to really manage certain expectations, manage the business objectives, the strategy for the organization, and gain those KPIs, because the KPIs really are the grain that moves the vision forward, and moves the direction of what the purpose for which we need those measurements.
Sorry, Misha. I think that the important word here maybe is not managed, but everything that can be measured can be improved, right? So, we have a status quo, and thanks to the KPIs, thanks to the data that we collect, we can improve the situation. The aim here is always to streamline the user's experience. It's always to get better engagement results, better results for your company, and so on, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Gets improved. That's definitely. So we'll put amazing Evo here on the next one. That's a very good point. And so this is just defining some of the measurement criteria, or maybe even setting a framework of when you're trying to assess something for an organization, right? There's a difference between kind of having overall KPIs, things that you want to measure, and also really the target, the key objective of the strategy for why, right? So I want to talk about a little bit about the why, then the what, and really the how, the KPIs, the actual benchmarks, right? As well, just to kind of set that high level perspective. So the why, really, that's the strategic objectives of the org. That's for example, there's maybe there are folks that are taking too much time to find improving the employee experience, or reducing churn, or those kind of things that really drive the organization, that drive the vision or the purpose, or making the experience much more centralized, more accessible, right? That's really the strategic objective of why, in defining an analytics measurement strategy for improving the experience. The what really are kind of the pain points / opportunities, right? I think we like to use the word opportunities more than pain points, but that really what exactly is the issue that's and the reason for why there's for the objective, right? And then the how is really these kind of goals / use cases that we want to deploy directly into LumApps. This is where more the operational tactical things come in, for that are used to kind of weigh in against those, the why and the what. KPIs, obviously, that's things that are actually being measured. Page views, reactions, likes, impressions, and so on, so forth. Scroll depth, right? How deep people scroll, like all those kind of things are KPIs. And you have benchmarks. What are they measured against? Is it weekly, monthly? Percentage. That's kind of your benchmarks. So as an example here, for example, reducing attrition, right? Folks, maybe the actual pain point is like 18 or 20 or 25% of folks leave within the first year. That's a very big problem, right? Why? Because you're an organization, you're spending so much money to, first of all, train onboard people, right? So maybe the first 3 months, 6 months is actually invested into onboarding somebody else in the org. And so the first 6 months, really, they're not really productive until they get to their productivity level. That's month number 7, month number 8. And so you see, really have the, once they really get into the productivity, into the groove, they're leaving the company. That's a problem, right? Unfortunately, we do see that nowadays. For folks always jumping around, there's less stickiness, less commitment. So what are some of the cases or examples or things you would want to deploy? How do we do it? How to use the employee experience platform of LumApps to address that problem and address our strategic objective, right? So maybe one is providing better, a more friendlier employee experience for onboarding. Maybe having a LumApps buddy, kind of like what we did in LumApps when I first joined. I know, Ivo, my LumApps buddy was Andy and Ludo. I don't know who your LumApps buddy was when maybe it was Ellie. I don't know. It's
No, that was Ivan.
Really?
In fact, yeah, of course, Ivo, Ivan, that was easy.
Right. It makes sense. It's they rhyme. So having some kind of guided tour, having a person help you, right? Having some kind of so that's kind of a use case. So specifically, obviously, with LumApps, having a guided tour or an onboarding experience within the product as well, and then having some kind of satisfaction scores from users as KPIs or number of employees using the training sessions, how many sessions are booked, how deeply they go into those training sessions, right? They complete them, number of employees using them, right? All those kind of things are used to measure it. And obviously, if not enough, if the ratio of onboarded people to viewers of sessions is very low, right? Obviously, the question is why. Maybe they're not marketed well. The comps isn't well. Maybe it's they're not effective enough, right? So those are the KPIs to measure, and then the benchmarks are clearly monthly, quarterly, etc. So main thing is gotta knowing the audience. Who is the audience that's going to watch the dashboards, the analytics? Is it leadership? Is it teams? Right? Why do they want to see it? Is it for business objectives? Is it really for engagement numbers? Because to reduce cost reduction, right? There's you have many tools in the engagement. So whatever that is, the audience and why they're doing it, that's very important. And obviously know what's available for measuring in the tool. And really, that's what we're planning to cover today, the know what's available part. And this is where I'm going to turn it over to you, Ivo, for the next few slides.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, of course. Well, today we are going to dive a little bit deeper into the technical aspects of the analytics. So not much. We're not going to give you advice about legal aspects of collecting data, but it will be more a technical deep dive. And in LumApps, you have to know that in terms of data collection, LumApps offers you plenty of tools. Some of them are very, very visible in the product itself, but some of them are a bit hidden. And so you need to scratch a little bit more on the surface in order to get the most out of your LumApps product. So we have experience in all these tools that we are going to present, and we can help you set up these tools. So with a quick list, very, very quick, that we can share already on this slide, the first thing that we think when we think about analytics in LumApps are certainly the in-product analytics, in-house analytics. So in order to get them, usually you visit your back office in LumApps, right? And then you select the analytics section, and then from there you have plenty of other interesting indicators about the whole platform, about the specific sites, about your custom content types. And now, as we have seen, thanks to the first portion of this talk presented by Misha, we have also indicators about the extensions. So the advantage of these analytics is that they are readily available to anybody with administrator privileges. So you can just visit LumApps and you will get the analytics directly embedded in the product. But honestly, they are not covering the entirety of the events that might be raised by the LumApps product. They are limited somewhere. So they are very useful to get a first idea of how your LumApps product is performing. But if you're interested in very specific details, maybe they are not enough. So what other sources of analytics are available beyond this one? The second one that comes to my mind are the platform logs. The platform logs are available through a specific API endpoint. So they are a bit more technical to extract. But for example, we did a project last year with a customer who was interested in knowing which kind of events were being generated on the platform. These platform logs are platform-wide, available via an API, and you can get an idea of who did what. So they are a log, they are audit logs in a certain sense, and they cover a certain number of actions. These actions are available in the documentation, and we will be giving you a link to this documentation later on. After the show, in the comments, we are going to put a link to those platform logs. The third exhaustive source of analytics about LumApps that come to my mind are the LumApps data lake. What is the LumApps data lake? In the LumApps data lake, you have a set of tables that is really available to you. And well, this list is so long that, dear Misha, I would like you to move the current slide to a bit farther. And so, yes, of course, here we had the inbound analytics. Then the next screen will be the one about the platform logs. You see the format for the platform logs. And this one are the tables available in the LumApps data lake. So it's huge, the amount of information that you can get from the LumApps data lake. But well, the defect of this one is that it's quite technical. So your data analysts will be able to tap into this data and to produce plenty of dashboards in your favorite business intelligence tool. But you need to set this data lake to BI tool connection up before tapping into this data. And so this requires a little bit of configuration. This will be a topic that we will be covering in 1 month from now. So how do you tap into this data and what kind of indicators can you get out of this huge volume of data that is available in the LumApps data lake? What is very important about the LumApps data lake, however, is that you have facts and you have dimensions. So you can get many informations about the activity present on your platform and generally attributes about LumApps entities such as contents, communities, posts, and so on. Spaces, of course. But yeah, well, this data sort of is very rich in information, and it can be used in order to produce your favorite dashboards. Then, well, there is a last item in this list that are the third-party tools. So when we are speaking about analytics, essentially you have 3 categories of analytics indicators. The first one are the quantitative analytics. And in this category, you will be finding Google Analytics, for example, plausible analytics, Google Tag Manager, Azure Application Insights. Those give you an idea of the collective engagement. So we are going to measure how many interactions your intranet generates. And then you can get indicators. You aggregate, for example, the scroll depth indicator that Misha has shown us earlier during this ADC live was based on events collected by Google Analytics. And so LumApps offers a native integration with LumApps Analytics. It's very, very easy to set up because you have just to type your Google Analytics identifier and LumApps will be sending data to that Google Analytics immediately. So it's the easiest way. But of course, given the power that LumApps unleashes to you, essentially you can bind any kind of quantitative analytics into your digital workplace. So we can help you with that. Then we have a second category of analytics that are about behavioral and UX analytics that are about knowing where the user are clicking. So heat maps like in Hotjar, or getting a better understanding of where your users struggle using your digital workplace. That would be SmartLook or Microsoft Clarity. And last but not least, we have built for our customers custom event collectors. So, for example, we have integrated two gamification platforms such as Bunchball and Achievers. These gamification tools unlock rewards for your users. But how do you unlock rewards? Thanks to the activity of the users on your digital workplace. So when they comment, for example, on a post that you have just created, they get points, they get reward points. And so in our past collaborations, we have connected the Bunchball event connectors to the LumApps digital workplace, even in positions where you don't have native LumApps analytics. I have spoken about the comments for a reason, because right now in LumApps you don't have analytics about the comments. And yet they are one of the most important things that you can get out of a questions and answers community. So that's it. That's it about this one. And the list now is about complete in terms of what kinds of analytics you can connect to your LumApps digital workplace. So the idea here is to, what is very, very important about data and analytics is that the data is the 21st century oil. So this is the sentence in the next slide. And that's because essentially data is an asset of your company. And from data, you can build up knowledge. You can extract more insights. You can reuse that data. And these analytics that we are speaking about can be used in order to build your own data lake. This will be my last slide. And the idea that we would like to advertise here is that all these analytics that we have mentioned so far can be aggregated into something new that will become your data lake. So we have the LumApps data lake, but we can build your own data lake. And this data lake that you will be owning, it will allow you not only to produce those beautiful dashboards that we have seen before and that Misha was presenting, but it can also use it to feed AI. As of today, we are speaking a lot about ChatGPT, Claude, AI in general. And this data that you are going to collect thanks to the LumApps analytics and to its easiness to connect to third-party analytics can be used to understand more about your digital workplace, not only LumApps, but your ecosystem, your digital ecosystem. And to give you ideas, you can leverage that data in order to drive your company in the future, in the short and long-term future. And yeah, well, that's about all for me. So thanks, Misha.
Ivo, thank you very much. I know this there will be a part two to this analytics deep dive where we go deeper into some of these areas and explore. That's actually why we need your feedback. Your feedback really does matter. So those of you who are LumApps customers, you're obviously familiar, hopefully, I should say, you're familiar with the Hive. So please come, give us your feedback. That really does matter. You can give us your feedback on the ADC partner space. Just type in ADC partner here and search. That'll come up. And once you land on our space, simply click to take this ADC Live survey here. It'll expand our ADC survey, advanced survey widget. And here we have just two multiple choice, two free-form questions to assess and get your feedback. Very quick, should take 30 seconds, no more than that. And we'd really, really very much appreciate it. And last but not least, what's next? So we have two very exciting episodes coming. So first, we'll have next in 2 weeks, Driving Culture and Bringing Cross-Functional Engagement with Paul Kalenda. This is a really exciting webinar because it'll talk about really a rich experience where everybody comes in and they really engage the platform in unique ways from the tech and IT and product teams, and how they're able to use AI and chat in their platform. So that I think it'll be very, very interesting. So Paul's going to come and share some very great stories about that. And then in August 20th, 1 month from now, we'll have a deeper dive, part 2 into this LumApps analytics. We'll go more into depth, as we said, with data lake, how to converting that data into knowledge assets, and you'll talk a little bit more about that as well. So please come back to the Hive, give us your feedback so we know what we can improve on, what we can prepare for in future episodes to make it really better for you, because that's really why we're doing it. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope to see you in the next one.